organized under USAID GTG RISE initiative. This is a bilateral program between USAID and the Ministry of Power. As a part of this program, we are undertaking a series of grid integration pilots in order to validate and test technologies and solutions that could support large-scale integration of renewable energy. Today, we are gathered here for a go-live demonstration of yet another pilot. We did another go-live, similar sort of go-live event 2 weeks back, and we are here gathered today for the go-live event of the battery energy storage system pilot, which is being implemented in partnership with Power Grid. This is a critical pilot as battery forms an important strategy in the GOI's plan. And this particular pilot tests a variety of applications in order to see whether to assess if the battery can provide the balancing support which is required by the grid. So today in the live event, we will be demonstrating some of these applications. Without further ado, I'll kickstart the event for today. But again, before we do, as a customary thing, I will request everybody to please switch on your cameras so that we can have a one Kodak moment before we get into the nitty-gritties and details of the event. So can I ask everyone to please switch on their cameras? Great. Can yes. Aman, Ripu, Manishji, Kakuli, yes. Ripu, I don't see you. And okay, now I see you. So, Rupi, you need to give me a thumbs up once you are done. So let's all smile. It's a great, warm, sunny afternoon. And hopefully this is the last event before everybody is out for their, holidays and Christmas vacations. Done?
Yeah, done.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. And it was great to see all of you in this virtual event. So without further ado, I will request our first speaker for the evening, for the afternoon, Julia Kennedy, to deliver the welcome remarks. Julia is the Deputy Indo-Pacific Coordinator and has been in India for nearly 4 years. She's also served in Haiti and Ecuador, and before joining USAID, she has also worked with the Department of State's climate change negotiation teams. So over to you, Julia.
Thank you, Manali. And a good afternoon to everybody present here today. And it's nice to see many of you again, as we were so recently together at the other Go Live event. So on behalf of the United States Agency for International Development, I'm delighted to welcome you all to this virtual Go Live demonstration for the Battery Energy Storage System, or BESS pilot. Before we bid adieu to an unprecedented year, we have once again come together to witness another leap forward in India's energy journey. Joining us today are senior officials from the Ministry of Power, as well as key agencies and stakeholders who are united in their commitment and dedication toward building a more robust power sector for the country. First, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to the distinguished representatives present here today. Mr. Narayan, the Joint Secretary of the Ministry of Power, Mr. Baba, the Chairman and Managing Director of the Power System Operation Corporation, Mr. Shubir Sen, the Chief Operating Officer for CTU and Smart Grid for the Power Grid Corporation of India Limited, and all our other assembled guests and dignitaries. Today's Go Live event for the BESS pilot comes in quick succession to the very recent and successful demonstration of the automatic generation control pilot at the Sharavati Hydro Plant in Karnataka. Our demonstration here marks yet another significant milestone in the US-India energy partnership. Today's event also signifies a considerable achievement for the US government's Asia Enhancing Development and Growth Through Energy Initiative, or Asia EDGE. A key focus of Asia EDGE is to advance deployment of technologies such as BESS that will aid countries in lowering their carbon footprint and fully utilizing their renewable energy resources. Asia EDGE works to strengthen energy security and expand access to sustainable and clean energy across South Asia. Through Asia EDGE and other ongoing initiatives under the US-India Strategic Energy Partnership, Our aim is to support India in building a resilient power sector in which clean energy occupies a pivotal role. Globally, energy storage is gaining momentum across sectors. Energy storage is enabling residential, commercial, and industrial sectors to improve power quality and reliability and reduce dependence on diesel for power backup. Energy storage is similarly gaining strength for electric mobility, allowing countries to scale back their resilience on imported fossil fuels and curb air pollution. In the power sector, energy storage has a critical role to play in grid integration and the balancing of variable generation sources. By increasing the system's overall flexibility, energy storage technologies can improve power quality and enhance the capacity of distribution and transmission grid. Put it simply, energy storage can ensure power without interruption. As part of a joint initiative with the Government of India's Ministry of Power, USAID's Greening the Grid, Renewable Integration and Sustainable Energy Program implemented the BESS pilot in partnership with Power Grid Corporation of India Limited. This pilot, conducted over a period of 2 years, included modifications in the existing battery storage at PGCIL's BESS facility in Puducherry. Our plans for this pilot were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, but today, along with PGCIL, we are pleased to initiate the live demonstration of BESS pilot test run. As part of the pilot, an array of BESS applications has been developed to demonstrate the support these batteries can provide to the Indian grid. The pilot will also help assess the economic value of battery storage systems. After today's demonstration, the G2G RISE team will undertake further analysis, conduct more use cases and tests to build an evidence base to inform the development of policy and regulatory framework and incentivize private sector engagement in the power sector. USAID and the Ministry of Power have together experienced, learned, and moved ahead enthusiastically to achieve our common goal. Our partnership is based on a mutual understanding, a comprehensive approach, and a resolute commitment to energy security and access. This mutual journey of ours is thriving, and credit for that truly lies with the increasing and dedicated support of our leadership. I would therefore like to commend the motivation provided by Joint Secretary Narayan. I would also like to thank Mr. Baba and the POSICO team for their unwavering guidance and support. I must also express my gratitude to Dr. Sen and his team, including Manish Tiwari and Mr. Mahesh, for their engagement and assistance consistently offered to the G2G RISE team. Additionally, many thanks to Deloitte, G2G RISE's implementing partner, for their diligence with the pilot and in organizing this event. And finally, to all of today's participants, I'm so glad you have joined us. I know many of you have supported us in countless ways, so thank you for that. I'm hopeful that the lessons we take away from this pilot will propel us with a robust grid here in India, and I'm looking forward to the live demonstration as well as hearing from all the other dignitaries assembled here today. Thank you again, and wishing you all a very happy new year. Back to you, Manali.
Thank you so much, Julia. Thank you. And I would now call upon our pilot partners, Power Grid, Dr. Subir Sen from Power Grid. So quickly to introduce Dr. Sen, although I'm sure everybody knows here. So Dr. Sen is currently the Chief Operating Officer, CTU and Smart Grid in Power Grid. Dr. Sen has more than 30 years of experience in transmission system, RE integration, smart grid, and has played a key role in many of the initiatives undertaken at Power Grid. Has several papers to his credit. So without further ado, I'd like to call upon Dr. Sen for his opening remarks. So over to you, Dr. Sen.
Thank you, Madam Monali ji. So good afternoon to everyone. Respected our Joint Secretary Transmission, Ministry of Power, Government of India, Sri Mrityunjay Kumar Narayan ji, Sri KVS Baba, CMD POSOCO, Madam Julia, the Deputy India Pacific Coordinator, USAID India, Madam Monali, Sri Subhranshu Patnaik, Senior Advisor, Deloitte India, Mr. Satish Singh, Director, Deloitte India, Sri Tushar Desai, DGM, KEC International, other participants in this today's virtual Go Live event of Battery Energy Storage System Pilot. So as you all know that our power system is under transition. So some of the drivers towards our emerging power system are like energy security, 24/7 quality power supply to the end consumers, emission reduction, also increasing grid complexity and expanding the regional grid, not only within the country, but across the country through cross-border interconnection. And the most important aspect is the resilience into the grid. So we are now focusing towards the clean, flexible, and digital grade future power system. So in this direction, our government has also taken a lot of initiatives, and now integration of increased renewable energy into the grid. This shall play a vital role. So as per the statistics, the rate of growth of renewable energy in India is one of the highest in the world. Now it is targeted that the renewable energy share in the capacity portfolio of the total electricity installed capacity is to be increased from present level of about 24% to about 36% by the year 2022, and again targeted it will be more than 39% by the year 2025. Also, it is envisaged that we have to shift more and more energy use towards using the electricity mainly through using the renewable energy sources. On the other hand, the variability and unpredictability associated with this kind of renewable generation like solar and wind has become a challenge to match the electricity demand and supply in every split second, which may have the impact on the grid if we are not able to address that challenge. Thus, there is a need for a reliable, flexible, and adaptive grid. So besides other measures, energy storage system is now emerging as one of the critical elements to counter different issues ranging from like farming the renewable energy output from the renewable generating stations, first ramping services, energy time shift, reactive power support so that we can maintain the system parameter within the permissible band, providing ancillary services like frequency regulation, spinning reserve, black start, etc. So various forms of energy storage systems have the potential to introduce flexibility in the grid by using both for power as well as the energy, and also amalgamating the stack benefits too. So considering this potential of the battery energy storage systems out of various forms of energy storage system, Power Grid has implemented first of its kind grid connected 1 megawatt battery energy storage system in India with 2 different technologies at Puducherry in April 2017. That too for limited applications for frequency regulation and energy time shift towards establishing the proof of concept and policy advocacy in this area. Subsequently, USA has also extended the support and extending the support in implementation of various test cases on the existing Puducherry battery energy storage system facility by augmenting the existing functionalities to evaluate the overall stack benefits of the battery energy storage system integration. The major objectives are: number one, enhancement of existing IT-based controls at the battery energy storage system with augmented functionalities like dynamic frequency regulation, load following, reactive power support, integrated frequency and voltage adjustment, etc. Number two, demonstration of possible use cases, feasibility of battery energy storage system in the grid, including ancillary services. Number 3 is assessment of economic value of battery energy storage system. So post of the today's go live demonstration of battery energy storage system at Puducherry, the test run will continue for a couple of months, which shall go a long way to facilitate in policy advocacy and framing of necessary regulations in this field. We are confident that this joint effort of us, that is Power Grid and USA, will prove a milestone in achieving the objectives of large-scale deployment of battery energy storage system progressively in our network. So with these words, I wish you all a very happy new year ahead, and thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sukhbir Sen. A very positive note. So with that, I will now move on to our next speaker, Mr. Baba. Again, Mr. Baba needs no introduction, and he's been a great supporter of GTG Rise and USAID in general. So, but quickly, Dr. Baba is the chairman and managing director of POSOCO with over 34 years of experience and a deep knowledge in power system planning as well as system operation, and has also got experience of working with both PGCIL as well as NTPC. So I'm really delighted to welcome you again, Mr. Baba, for the special remarks. So over to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Monali, for always making me part of your endeavors or your events. So first of all, thanks to USAID and Ms. Julia and Sri Mrityunjay Kumar Narayan sir. And it is Dr. Subir Sen and the team of Power Grid and GTG Rise team led by Subramshu and many intellectuals and enthusiasts, all working towards the power system. Basically, whatever all these things are happening, it is going to help the system operator only. So we are all equally enthusiastic to all the work that is being taken up by them. Once upon a time, the load was following the generation in India. Now, with the so much of generation, now generation is following the load. So we are, and because the demand is varying so much, the generation has to meet the demand. Now with the renewables joining the bandwagon, and so the workload on the generators is increasing and in a different. Now again, to looking into the various events. So now again we have started looking for load following the generation. So all the demand response, all these things are again. So the power system is going in all the, we are coming, so new and variations are coming so fast. So more of automatic controls. So we have now no manual control can really manage the power system. So now we have to look for how fast things can happen. So a lot of forecasting, lot of planning, lot of automation and artificial intelligence all are being imbibed into the power system operation and control. And USAID is coming with so many pilots, and we are all equally looking eagerly for the outcomes. And one of the strong point is battery. Definitely, unless this, as Dr. Subir Sen has enumerated a lot of benefits of this BESS and the power systems, I don't need to repeat all of them. So definitely, the India's, we are going towards the better controls and better systems and processes. So it is very important point actually. So system operator always looks for how to control the voltage and frequency. That's the only fundamental things. So the battery, definitely any storage is very essential, as Dr. Sen said that. So only we have to see that how economically these are made available to the public and the ultimate consumer. How to contain the, it is more economical. So definitely, and in fact, I have seen this Puducherry unit of 1 megawatt plant. And I was looking eagerly when this will be completed. So at least to now with this, that is joining the USAID and all the pilots, definitely it will see, and we all will get enriched with the operational experience and see. That is very essential. There are many people who are thinking this battery we need not have pilots and we can directly put it. But the present economics do not permit us to employ them in or deploy them in such a large scale. So we better to even CEA optimization, optimal resource mix also tells 2025. By 25, we may require batteries. So by these years, we should get a lot of experience, and definitely these pilots will add value to our understanding and better appreciation. So I welcome all these steps, and we will definitely be part of Power Grid and team and GTG RISE team to understand and derive benefits of these pilots. I wish you all the best for these pilots. Thank you very much for once again making me a part of your events, and wish you all the best. Thanks, Monali. Bye.
Thank you so much, Mr. Baba. As always, you are a part of GTG RISE. So we're not making a part, you're already a part of it. Thank you again for your kind words. And I will now move on to our keynote address by Mr. Mrityunjay Kumar Narayan. Thank you again, sir, for giving time again in a quick succession for this pilot as well. Mr. Mrityunjay is the 1995 batch IAS officer and is currently serving as the Joint Secretary Transmission in the Ministry of Power. In a career spanning of almost about 25 years, he has held several key positions, including as the Secretary to the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. And we are, as I mentioned earlier, really delighted to have him today here for this particular event. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Monali, for your kind words. Thank you for inviting me again for the second event this month. Present here on this occasion, Ms. Julia Kennedy, Deputy Indo-Pacific Coordinator of USAID India, Dr. Subir Sen, COO from Power Grid Corporation of India Limited. I hope you are able to hear me. Am I audible? Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. KVS Baba, CMD Posoko, Monali and Subransu from Deloitte. It gives me immense pleasure to be here this afternoon for this today's virtual Go Live event for battery energy storage system pilot supported under the joint initiative between Ministry of Power and USAID called Greening the Grid Renewable Energy and Sustainable Energy, or GTG RISE initiative. This is the second Go Live event for the grid integration pilots organized under the GTG RISE initiative this month. And I'm extremely glad to note that the pilots which were undertaken with novel objectives are getting completed, and we can showcase as to what the outcomes are after studying them. I would like to extend my sincere congratulations to Dr. Subir Sen, Mr. KVS Baba, Ms. Julia Kennedy, and teams from Power Grid Corporation of India Limited and USAID's GTG RISE initiative, who have been part of this BESS pilot. As we understand, globally, the energy sector is transitioning to low carbon resources, and Government of India too is on track to a transition with a target to add 175 gigawatt of renewable energy to the Indian grid by 2022. We have further ambitious target of having 450 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2030. It's very ambitious, program of the Government of India. However, we need to understand that transition poses many challenges as well for the power utilities, and it is essential for them to evolve with the changing times. As India is moving ahead with such large scale penetration of variable renewable energy, it requires the entire power systems to be more evolved and balanced. Addressing any demand-supply mismatch in real time is of utmost importance to ensure grid reliability. In this context, energy storage would prove to be a technology that could support utilities in meeting challenges of demand growth more efficiently. Battery energy storage system technology has gained significant popularity across Western countries, and the same seems a promising proposition for the Indian grid system. However, its high capital cost and limited ground-level experiences make the investment decision of this technology challenging for both utilities and regulators. I strongly believe that deployment of any such technology at large scale needs to be analyzed from both commercial viability and technical feasibility perspective. The Go Live GTG RISE pilot on enablement of various use cases for grid services through BESS is an important milestone in India's transition towards large-scale deployment of variable renewable energy. The BESS pilot will contribute significantly in assessing battery technologies and their utility in grid-based services. It will help in evaluating both power and energy applications of BESS, as well as in differentiating between localized and grid-level benefits. The pilot will also provide valuable insights for the policy and regulatory frameworks being developed in the country for ancillary services, relieving network constraints and other services that can be provided by the BESS. The outcomes from the pilot will help us derive clear policy and regulations for scaling up BESS in the country and harness its full potential. I'm excited to see the demonstration and hear the presentation. I certainly look forward to this, the demonstration and the presentation, which will come afterwards. I strongly believe that collaborative efforts by respective agencies will help the power sector grow progressively towards a transition wherein the grid is more flexible, reliable, and efficient to foster and enhance renewable energy integration. We are proud to partner with the USAID on this initiative and our journey to a high-performing, low-emission, energy-secure economy. I'd like to congratulate PGCIL team once again and acknowledge the leadership of Dr. Sen for this excellent, outstanding work. I would also like to thank Mr. Baba and POSOCO team for their guidance on the pilots conducted under GTG RISE. I would also like to thank Ms. Julia and USAID team for the partnership in taking forward some of these important pilot projects under this GTG RISE initiative. These will provide valuable insights to inform our strategy as we integrate vast amount of renewable energy into our power system. At the end, I would like to say that I eagerly look forward to further collaborations under the US-India partnership and to many such successes in times to come. And thank you very much and wish you all a very wonderful new year ahead. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your words. And now I will like to move on to the go live part of it. So we have a team, Satish and Tushar, as well as other people at other team members at Puducherry, who will be presenting the demonstration. So over to you, Satish.
Thanks, Monali. So I'm here with Tushar from KEC International, who is our grantee. And Jisha is also part of the same team. Mr. Mahesh is the operator here. He owns, operates, and he is master of this battery energy storage system here at site from Power Grid side. So I'll go, I'll move ahead. Next slide. So how this pilot was conceptualized was that in year 2017, when this GTG RISE initiative was shaping up, at that time, we were having stakeholder consultations. During various stakeholder consultations, we were suggested to do at least one pilot on battery storage, and POSOCO being a nodal agency for us on this GTG RISE initiative, they also told that why not you do a pilot and evaluate value of batteries in providing grid services? So that was the initiating point from where we included this pilot as part of the overall program. Then Power Grid was kind enough to provide us their facility for testing and enhancing the additional use cases. So jointly with Power Grid as our partner, we developed use cases. We did in-house research, the technical due diligence, and all those aspects. And that's how we are here, where we have already tested and we are gathering the parameters as of now. So going after this brief presentation, I'll also go and demonstrate the live SCADA screen itself. So the pilot was conceptualized in 3 stages. The first one was technical due diligence, followed by selection of grantee, a grantee who had implemented the hardware and designed the control logics based on the pre-feasibility and technical reports. The second stage is operational run, where we are, as of now, we are also developing a detailed guidance note on how to conduct these testings, followed by stage 3, which we intend to complete in coming couple of months. A quick key milestone journey. We started in 2017. The award was in 2018. Factory acceptance testing, and then we also had grid integration advisors from international experts on this subject matter to design the test cases and see the feasibility, what is possible with the setup which is already in place. So DNVGL was our grid integration advisor. They had also visited the site, followed by, so during last 4-5 months, we have been working continuously. So KC international team is working from the site at Puducherry since 4-5 months to enable smooth functioning operations, troubleshooting, and so that the system goes live by today. That is our plan. A basic difference, what all has been added to the system. So if you see this original architecture, was having two different SCADA systems for 2 battery technologies. One is lithium ion, and the one is lead acid batteries. So the additions here are corresponding to this green box, where we had proposed the new technical design to be having only one SCADA system. However, a new PCS, power controlling system, and a CCU unit along with the required communication infrastructure, because we are now going to enhance the use cases. So earlier the system was capturing grid frequency. However, we also need to capture load of particular feeder, which will be our grid feeder. Similarly, we also got the inputs from the solar rooftop plants to see how PV smoothing can be performed. Now, key interventions under the pilot included like deployment of new controller, as I told earlier, hardware switches, then software updates of the existing system, SCADA system. So all these were part of the grantee KC International, which they deployed on site here. Right. Right. So I'll just be quick through and run through the various applications which have been now deployed on the battery energy storage system facility. So the first one is dynamic frequency response regulation services. So as we all know that a battery can charge or discharge energy as per the real-time signals it receives from the grid. So those signals could be either frequency, could be either a load, could be a PV signal. So when we talk of frequency regulation services, so there is a dead band. So for example, if we set 49.95 and 50.05 as a dead band, so batteries would not act during these dead band. However, if frequency goes below 49.95, the battery would, so when frequency goes below 49.95, that means there is a generation deficit in the system. Your load is more than generation. And then in that case, the battery acts as a generator and provide the necessary power to the grid, so that your frequency becomes within the pre-specified band. So, and vice versa, if frequency is high, the battery will act as a load. So these ramps, if you see here, these are the rate at which you want to discharge the batteries. This is the parameters which we can fine tune. And after a threshold value, say from here, if I say that my grid collapse event is going to trigger at this frequency, and then I say your battery would discharge at or charge at the rate of 100% to the full capacity. So those controls are there. So this is very basic kind of design, but when I'll go to the system, I'll explain more on what all other parameters have been considered while designing this frequency regulation module. The other one is reactive power support. So we understand batteries can provide active and reactive power both from the same DC power. Here again, the deadband concept is there. For example, if my 0.97 per unit to 1.03 per unit is the voltage deadband range, any deviation from that voltage would be compensated by battery in terms of absorbing or supplying the reactive power support to the grid. The third application is peak saving. So here what we mean to say, if I am a load center and if I have a battery system also installed at my place, so when I am purchasing a contracting power from a grid or a third person, I have that flexibility to say that my peak saving means the peak value and the valley value, both I can define. So any power draw or grid loading beyond these values would be compensated by batteries. So if it is more, in that case, it will be charging and correspondingly it will discharge as well. So load following is a different application. This is how, so ultimately the batteries functionalities remain the same for peak saving and load following, but how we interpret and design and make it commercially viable is the difference. So in load following, what we do, this red graph is the scheduled kind of instructions which has been given for any entity, and then this is actual load power without base. So whenever there is a deviation between scheduled instruction and the load, so these are times. So for example, from 3 to 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours, 5 to 8 hours, something like that. If I have predefined it, the batteries can be programmed to follow those kind of scheduled instructions as well. Now, renewable energy capacity firming. Here, if battery is co-located as at a say renewable facility, it can provide so this both unit battery and your renewable facility both can provide firm power outputs, and whenever there is a deviation in say solar or renewable energy source, the deficit can be supplied by the batteries in real time, so that if I'm doing a scheduling for 5 minutes, say 8 hours, 8.5 and so on, so these can be compensated by this small amount of batteries which can charge or discharge in either direction. Now the other application is renewable energy time shift. Here, if this is my actual load curve which we have drawn based on my experience. However, this is a solar generation during the daytime, and my demand is 0. So what I'll do, I'll charge the batteries during those time. I'll hold back the energy for a few hours, and then by the evening time I'll discharge accordingly, so that this renewable energy time shift application is demonstrated. I'll go more in detail when we do a live demo kind of thing. This was just a basic understanding what all have been designed from both sides. So these are a few of the graphs which have been captured by the system in real time. So we go ahead. So these are battery responses with respect to active power and reactive power support. So I'll now pause here. I'll like to take you to the SCADA system, but before that, because we couldn't do a kind of actual physical field visit here, which we wanted, let us have a virtual tour of the facility here, so as to make more connections on what all we are talking now. Yeah. So this is 400 by 230 kV Puducherry PG power grid substation. This, apart from a substation, this is also housing the battery energy storage facility. This is the control center, which we are seeing on the screen. On the left side, you see the container, battery containers. There are two big containers, 40 feet long, and this is smaller one is 20 feet long. So this advanced lead acid battery comes with a different kind of separate power controlling system unit, which is not the case in lithium ion battery, because the lithium ion is compact in size. So maybe lithium ion is having 40 feet long container, vis-a-vis your lead acid is 40 feet long container plus 20 feet long PCS also. So that is there, working functional since 2017 itself. This is the control center, the research facility, where the SCADA screen is there, command, control, and all those data analysis is being conducted here itself. The algorithm have been designed here. So this was a very quick kind of virtual tour of the facility where we have been working. So now I'll go to the SCADA screen and will explain what all is there on the screen, and then we will demonstrate a few of the applications. We will see how the battery is responding, what is the time lag and other things, a very quick kind of overview. So this is my main screen, right? If I go down here, I see there are two battery units. One is lead acid, one is lithium ion. Both are now connected to the grid, and this is a 0.415 by 22 kV transformer, and here we are measuring the battery output. So this is important thing here. The changes will be displayed in terms of P and Q response from battery. This is my 22 kV distribution network. Say for this facility we are assuming it as a small grid. Then we have a load feeder. So there is a load, a feeder on which load measurement is taking place in real time. Then we also have a solar facility, which I'll explain when we demonstrate that particular application. Now here the frequency, voltage, all those parameters are being monitored in real time. They are getting stored somewhere in the database for future analytics. So apart from this screen, we have multiple other screens, like what is the parameters, thermal limits, temperature of the batteries. So typically every BESS system has this kind of control systems, protection, energy metering, communication, and all those aspects. So this is typical BESS system, and every BESS system must have these kind of functionalities. So these are functionalities already existed. The additional things which were conducted with the GTC RISE support is CCU module, wherein we have implemented these applications. And then I'll go one by one and detail out how this system is behaving when we change the values or we observe from the original value. So maybe I'll start with voltage regulation. Yes, so before I go ahead, let us see what is the voltage as of now on the grid. Control, yes. So this is 21.7. Now the voltage regulation module, we have the dead band we have decided is 20.9 to 23.1 in terms of kV with respect to 22 kV. So this 21.7 is within the range, and hence your reactive power output from the battery is now almost zero. Now you enable. Now the problem here is we cannot wait and for the voltage to change so that we see Q output response. So because this is a open, not a closed loop system, this is an open loop system where input affect the output, and output doesn't have any role to play with the input. So what we will do, we will change the input values manually for few of the parameters. We will do that, and let us see how the battery is responding. So for example, let us go beyond the band and try to set the voltage regulation value to say 20.5 instead of the existing values, and see how battery is responding. So we see there is a reactive power support to the grid whenever this voltage has been set manually by manual enforcing to 20.5 kV. Similarly, can you please go and set another value beyond that, maybe 23.5 would do. So once we set the values and there is a over voltage conditions, and during those events, the system is absorbing reactive power. The battery is absorbing reactive power. So this is the voltage frequency regulation module which we have designed. Now this is not only the manual thing, but once you set the system into auto mode, it will continuously scan the grid frequency. It will then decide. It will accordingly, the level of the severity would again decide the rate at which the battery has to provide reactive power. If severity is low, it will provide the reactive power support at a smaller value with respect to whatsoever the designer and the control system, the master operator put into the system, the battery will operate on its own based on this algorithm. Let us go to other applications. Just close this manual operations. Peak load shift, yeah. So again, in the peak load shifting, here we see there is a load connected, that is 180 kilowatt, right? And then our objective here is to provide a band of the loading conditions, so maximum peak and valley peak. So for example, let's us set these values at 170 kilowatt and maybe 100 kilowatt or so, 120 kilowatt you set it. So we are setting that any power import from the grid would be in between 170 kilowatt and 120 kilowatt only, and battery along with my load, the combined net load seen from the grid side would be between these ranges, right? Now what happens if my load deviates and load values goes to say 100 kilowatt? So if there is no battery, if your load goes 100, then you are not honoring that kind of thing, that my 170 and 120 would be there. So here in those scenarios, if 200 kilowatt. Okay, so 170 is the limit on the upper one, and then your load is 200, for example. So 27 megawatt is getting absorbed by the supplied by the battery to the load. Similarly, if you set the values to say 100 kilowatt, this one or value one, this one, okay. So it will accordingly charge from the system, so that the total import is on that limit is being honored, 120. Yes. Yes, similarly, we have this P-track application. P-track is nothing but load following actually. In the module we have wrote it down as P-track. This is load following itself. Here we have a kind of lookup table wherein we can say that this is my schedule for the day for any particular load, and that schedule we have to follow, and while seeing it from the grid side, and battery is at our disposal to follow that kind of loading conditions which we were seeing in that graph. So ultimately the control logics remains the same, but how we are implementing is that here there is a lookup table. You have you can put values that I want 8 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt during this time. Battery will keep on scanning, checking what is the actual deviation. It will provide and compensate for the deficit if there is any. Next, yeah. So you can just showcase how it is changing values. Okay, go ahead. We'll go to the next module now. Maybe PV smoothing. So here the voltage measurement and the load measurement, that all we are doing at the 22 kV feeder, that is TCC point for us. And that is the reference point from where we are getting signal. But when we are seeing this PV smoothing module, so this PV solar rooftop is installed in Gurgaon, owned by PGCIL, Power Grid, and what we are doing is we are getting direct meter input from there in real time. And let us see what is the live generation as of now. So as of now, this is generating 100 kilowatt as of now, isn't it? So for example, so it is generating 100 kilowatt now, but we need say 80 kilowatt from this combined facility. So here I'll also make it clear that once we say PV smoothing and PV applications, it has to be co-located, and the charging or discharging should merge with the power output from the PV. But however, we didn't have that facility at that time when we conceived the pilot. We assume that any kind of discharge from the battery is getting absorbed or discharged by the solar rooftop. So that was the basic assumption which we made for the testing purpose. So for example, if 80 kilowatt was the required output from there, this was the schedule. For example, if I make the schedule of 80 kilowatt from that particular solar rooftop, however, actual generation was 100 kilowatt. And if there is a battery, the battery will absorb the additional power so as to make the 80 as the output from the PV plant. And then you can provide this kind of scheduling on daily basis. The battery will keep track of the changes, and it will provide the firm output or the smoothened power output to the grid or to the PCC point. So that is there. Have you demonstrated?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so let us move ahead on this frequency regulation module. Can enable it first. So in frequency regulation module, we have designed it with specific bands. So for example, it starts from say 49.95 to 49. So 49.95, 50.05 is one band. 49.75 and 50.25 is another band. And say 49.5 and 50.5 is third band. So if your frequency goes beyond third band, so these values can be discussed. So we have just been parameterizing these values, doing testing and all those things. So these values we are trying to capture based on the historical data and other things, so that's fine. Now, if my frequency goes beyond the last threshold point, say 49.5 or 50.5, the battery discharge rate is full to the full, maybe 100% extent. If it is between the middle band, the battery will charge or discharge as per the grid event with a specified ramp rate that user can define. And if the frequency deviation is very small, it will again discharge at a different lower rate. However, with this kind of application, we have also included the SOC management kind of concept that if battery is not doing anything, it is going to maintain its state of charge so that it is ready for the next event. Apart from that, here we have also done, so let us go to the demo part. So as of now, the grid frequency is 50.05 Hertz, right? And during this condition, there is a active power support from the battery, right? Now, these are the SOC levels, 81% and 82. Now let us change this frequency value manually and see how this active power support to the grid is getting changed. Yeah, you put maybe 49.90 or something like that. Yes, so there is a under frequency event, fine. So put a 50 point, say 17 or whatsoever. Yeah, execute now. Yeah, so now this P is negative. Now, in between, the battery is also having algorithms for say SOC management. The algorithm which has been developed is also capable of adjusting the frequency band. So This is initial frequency band. If we adjust and after a few days of operation, we also get historical values of frequency in smaller time scales that would provide insights to us that in order to reduce I mean to say was that in order to extend the life of the battery, you can fine tune these settings so that your charge and discharge are quite controlled. And then accordingly, all those algorithms have been implemented. So this is a kind of customized one, a little complex one, but we will be sharing all those findings through our next release, next events on this kind of applications. So I wished we all could have been here. We could have discussed in more detail all those aspects, but for the sake of time, we'll just pause here. So maybe you can project this slide, please. So in terms of next steps, we have chalked out clearly what all we are going to do. So this is this particular data collection analysis is going to happen, continue for next 3 months as well. Followed by, we will release a primer on economic benefit estimation of battery in ancillary market, and will also include a few findings from voltage and frequency support from our test cases. Then site acceptance testing guidelines. This is very important document now, because we were developing these applications maybe for the first time in India, and there were no specific guidance that what all parameters should be tested, how the battery capacity test should be done. So starting from basics to the advanced level, where we say that it is not that you only test on the extreme values, you test on the probable values where your batteries might not provide the anticipated responses. So all those things in consultation with Power Grid and support from our grid integration advisor, DNVGL, plus also KC International, we have drafted the guidance note. This we are finalizing as of now, and we will release it during our next event in February. Similarly, we will also come out with a detailed report on what all benefits can be stacked, as Baba sir told, from this battery for grid support. That is the next step where we are again focusing, and the scalability roadmap would come out for best usage in transmission system by April 2020. So our next event we have planned in February, followed by again February and March, there will be 2 workshops where we will come out and do a detailed analysis, detailed outputs, more focused knowledge sharing. So over to you, Monali, now.
Thank you, Satish. Thank you, and kudos to all the team members at PGCIL, KEC, as well as GTG RISE for the efforts taken. And with that, we are doing quite good in terms of time. But with that, I'll pass it on to Shubhranshu, who is the senior advisor at GTG RISE initiative and was also earlier the COP for the vote of thanks. So over to you, Shubhranshu. Can you stop sharing the screen, Satish?
Thank you, Monali, and congratulations again to PGCIL team in Puducherry in particular, and also at the head office led by Dr. Sen and of course Mr. Manish Kumar Tiwari. So thank you and congratulations again. Let me bring these sessions to a close by extending our vote of thanks to the Honorable Joint Secretary, Mr. Mrityunjay Kumar Narayan. Thank you, sir. You've always been a steady support and guide for the GTG RISE program, and your words were a great inspiration today again. So thank you, sir. Thanks for the support. Mr. Baba, thank you, sir, again for you've been the steer for all the pilots. In fact, you've been the nodal agency for the pilot, and this is also one of your suggestions. So it must please all of us to see how that how the pilot, even if it's delayed because of COVID, finally comes through. We will now dedicate ourselves to looking at how the operational outputs come through, and we'll report back over the next few months on the efficacy of the pilot. Mr. Dr. Sen, in fact, thank you, sir, again for the support. You were so quick in giving expeditious approval. But I should call out the fact that your team, particularly Mr. Manish Tiwari and a lot of innovative youngsters under him, have constantly challenged us through this process. They've been real counterparts all through. And I believe the output is richer by means of that. So thank you very much for the support all through this process. Mr. Manish Kumar Tiwari and team, I should call you out. It's been a great experience working with you. Ms. Julia Kennedy from USAID, Deputy Indo-Pacific Coordinator, USAID India. Thank you, ma'am, for the support all through. This was made possible through both technical assistance under the GTG RISE as well as grant funding from USAID. So all the hardware, software that got deployed for the enhancement came through a grant funding. So thank you again for the constant support. Finally, Monali, always a great team leader for this entire effort and has been great support all through. To the GTG RISE team members, again, great to see that you persisted all through the COVID process. It was not easy to be on site and getting this done. To the grantees, KEC International in particular, and our subcontractors also, DNVGL and PRDC, who've been supporting us all through. This has been a great experience working together with a lot of international and domestic experience coming together. So hopefully we deliver on this over the next 3-4 months in terms of actual operational outputs of the pilot being studied, so that becomes an input for various technologies, how it responds to the overall process. There were a few questions in the chat box. Before I close, I should call those out. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. We'll not be taking questions today, but we'll be holding a knowledge sharing session coming out of the operational outputs of the pilot fairly soon. And that is probably the right time to take questions in greater detail. So there are a lot of use cases enabled, 5 or 6 of them. So stacking them up, how do we see the output of each use case? All of that we will discuss in great detail over a knowledge session as we go forward. So with that, over to you, Monali. Thanks to everyone for attending.
Thank you so much, Shubhranshu. And with that, we are at the close of today's Go Live event. And I would once again thank you all for joining us. It's with all your support that we have been able to come here where we are today. And we hope to share the further results in 2 months' time, to a couple of months. Wishing all of you a very happy holiday and a very happy New Year. Hope it brings a lot of cheer and good health for everyone. So we are again, thank you so much for joining us and hope to see you again very soon in the New Year's. So thanks again and bye-bye.
Thanks, Monali, and wish you a nice holiday season. Happy Christmas and Happy New Year, and all USA team and GTG RISE team, Shubhranshu and all. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Monali ji,
Thank you, everyone.
and entire team.
Thank you, Subhishwan.
Okay, thanks, Miss Julia, and have a nice time.
Thank you.
Mr. Nalasan.
Good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Manish ji. Thank you, Subhish ji. And thank you, Prateek.
Thank you, Monali. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you, Prateek and the KEC team and GTG RISE team.
Thank you.
Okay. Everybody have a good year now.